Hey, hey, welcome to Flashback Monday. Hope you're starting off the week on a good note. And welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina KRSTINA. This is where I read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy stuff going on here. So, uh, let's start off. The Cull. These are books published in July of 2017. I do miss my Romantic Times book review magazine very much. But we got to move forward, right? So, former mercenary Sonia Kurtz is hired by business tycoon Julia Clyde-Smith to lead an elite squad. Their aim is to take down an Africa's top poaching kingpins and stop at nothing to save its endangered wildlife. Yes, yes, save the animals, save the animals, save them all. And you know, the weird thing about this, I'm going to show you. Come on, computer. There you go. 2017. If you look online, it all says 2018. Anyways, save the animals. Definitely, absolutely, 100% save the animals. But as the body count rises, it becomes harder for Sonya to stay under the radar, and she is targeted by an underworld syndicate known as the Scorpions. When her love interest, safari guide, and private investigator Hudson Brand is employed to look into the death of an alleged poacher at the hands of Sonya's team, she is forced to ask herself if Julia's crusade has gone too far. Maybe. On the lighter side of things, a little bit of romance here. When I think of Lorelei James, I think of ebooks, and I don't mean electronic. I mean a little heavier on the bedroom side of town. Heir to Lund Industries and ladies' man Jensen, the Rocket Lund has three conditions when it comes to dating: no single mothers, no cheerleaders, no medical personnel. So it makes no sense when he's wildly attracted to the Roland Mitchell, who breaks all three. Rowan didn't pass the rigorous requirements to become an athletic trainer and Vikings cheerleader in hopes of landing a pro athlete. Been there, done that, and has a young son as proof that football players and fidelity don't go hand in hand. Ah, romance coming. Romance coming. And we've read some of hers. We got to go back and read some more. Juliet Blackwell. When our friend Alicia hires Turner Construction to renovate a lighthouse in the San Francisco Bay, Mel Turner can't wait to get her hands dirty. Alicia plans to transform the island property into a welcoming inn, and while Mel has never attempted a project so ambitious or so tall, she's definitely up for the challenge. But trouble soon arises when Alicia's ex-husband shows up, threatens both her and Mel, and later turns up dead. Oops. And gotta have our Regency. Sophie Jordan, the scandal of it all. What kind of woman ventures into London, a notorious pleasure club? An outsider like Garcia, the Duchess of Ottenbury, snubbed time and time again by society because of her Spanish roots. Ella longs to take a lover for a single wild night, and within the walls of Sodom there are gentlemen to suit every forbidden taste. If only she were not drawn to the smoldering Lord Strickland, a dangerous man who sees beyond her mask and could ruin her reputation in a mere whisper. Oops. Trouble. Susan Mallory, Secrets of the Tulip Sisters. Kelly Murphy's life as a tulip farmer is pretty routine, but that changes with two dramatic homecomings. Griffith Burnett, Tulpen Crossing prodigy son, who set his sights on Kelly, and Olivia, her wayward and, as far as Kelly is concerned, unwelcome sister. Tempted by Griffiths, annoyed by Olivia, Kelly is overwhelmed by the secrets that were easy to keep when she was alone. Olivia's return isn't as triumph as she pretends. For 10 years, she and Kelly have been strangers. While the sisters butt head, their secrets tumble out in big, hot mess, revealing some truths that will change everything. This tulip farms? This really tulip farms? Ugh. You know, I wasn't organized when I was doing RT, and I'm not organized now. Julie Garwood, Wired. Allison Trent doesn't look like a hacker. In fact, when she's not in college working on a degree, she models on the side. But behind her gorgeous face is a brilliant mind for computers, and her real love is writing and hacking code. Her dream is to write a new security program that could revolutionize the tech industry. Hotshot FBI agent Liam Scott has a problem, a leak deep within his own department. He needs the skills of top-notch hacker to work on a highly sensitive project, to secretly break into the FBI servers and find out who the traitor is, but he can't use one of his own, so he uses Allison, and I bet there's a little love on the side. I bet there is. We've done this lady a couple of times. She's come up in a couple of different if-thens. Military if-then. Tell you that much. Some kind of hero. Navy men don't come tougher than Lieutenant Peter Green. Every day he whips hot SEAL wannabes into elite fighters. So why can't he handle one 15-year-old girl? His ex-girlfriend left him a single dad overnight and very unprepared. Though we can't relate to an angry teen, he can at least keep Maddie safe until the day she disappears. Though Pete's lacking in fatherly intuition, his instinct for detecting danger is razor sharp. Maddie's in trouble. Now he needs the troubleshooters team at his back, along with the unconventional ally. Romance writer Shayla Whitman never expected to be drawn into a real-world thrill. So to meet a hero who makes her pulse pound, action on the page is one thing. Actually living it is another story. She's going to help him find the child. Maddie. Help him find Maddie. Vector. James Abel. Joe Rush is at Amazon Gold Rush to study new forms of malaria when his best friend and partner, Edie Macklem, disappears. Learning that many of the sick miners have also vanished, Rush begins a search for Eddie that takes him into the heart of darkness, where he must battle for his life and where he discovers a secret that may change the world. Oops. Jody Thomas, Indigo Lake. Blade Hamilton is the last of his line. He's never heard of Crossroads, Texas. Hey! Do you hear Charlene Harris? Charlene Harris. Midnight, Texas. Crossroads. If you want a little vampire mixed up paranormal in your life. Until he Harrods land there. Riding in on his vintage Harley Davidson, Blade finds a weathered ranch in an empty prairie and a dark river that cuts a divisive path between the Hamiltons' land and that of their estranged neighbors. When Dakota helps a stranger on the roadside, she isn't prepared for the charisma of the man on the motorbike or for the last name he bears, Hamilton, of her family's sworn enemies, representing all she's been raised to loathe. The problem is it looks like Blade is in town to stay, and there's just something she can't ignore. You know, racism, biasm is taught. That's the problem. If you didn't teach the kid to hate your neighbor, the kid wouldn't hate your neighbor. The kid wouldn't know about anything, and they would become friends with the neighbor. But that's racism for you. It's not, you're not born a racist. You're taught. Have a puppy dog? Collard, David Rosenfeld. Hey, if you haven't done Dog Days of Summer yet, D. Louise book series, If Then, go check them out. Lawyer Andy Carpenter's true passion is his dog rescue operation, the Tara Foundation. It isn't surprising to find a dog abandoned at the shelter with an anonymous note. But then they scan the dog's embedded chip and discover they know this dog. 2.5 years ago, single mother Jill Hickman adopted baby and dog were kidnapped in Eastside Park in broad daylight. A tip ID'd Hickman's former boyfriend Keith Watchell, and a search of his house uncovered hair from Hickman's door. Watchell was convicted, but the dog and the baby were never found. Found the dog. This should be interesting. Linda FAIRSTEIN, Deadfall. Wild heart beats within New York City amid concrete and skyscrapers. The Wildlife Conservation Society works to preserve and protect the animal kingdom both within and beyond the borders of the 5 boroughs. But dangerous creatures don't always have claws and fangs. As Assistant DA Alexander Cooper, NYPD detectives Mike Chapman and Mercer Wallace know all too well, predators lurk close to home, and in the aftermath of the shocking assassination of an iconic public figure, someone Alex has worked with for years, the trio must unravel the motive behind the shooting to discover the bigger snake, the killer or the victim. Interesting. Jennifer Probst, All or Nothing. Somebody needs to explain to me why you spend $50 on jeans with holes in the knees. I don't understand. But anyways. Tristan Pierce left the family business to build a life of his own, but he never forgot his passionate affair with the much younger, inexperienced Sidney Green, or the hurtful breakup that tore him apart. When he's forced to return home and face his past, will he be able to carve out a future, or will lies ruin his second chance? Might be a good book for second. I did, what was it? Jill Chavez. Check out Dealey's book series, and I think it's Second Chance If Then. Linda Castillo, Down a Dark Road. Wait a second. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Yes, ma'am. What? 2 years ago, Joseph King was convicted of murdering his wife and sentenced to life in prison. He was a fallen Amish man and a known drug user with a violent temper. Now King has escaped and he's headed for Painter's Mill. News of a murderer on the loose travels like wildfire, putting Chief of Police Kate Buckholder and her team of officers on edge. This is personal for Kate. She grew up with Joseph King. As a 13-year-old Amish girl, she worked up the ground he worked on. She never could have imagined the nightmare scenario that unfolds when King shows up with a gun and takes on 5 children hostage at their Amish uncle's farm. Armed and desperate, he has nothing to lose. Did he do it or was he framed? Michael Connelly, The Late Show. Renee Ballard works the night shift in Hollywood, beginning many investigations but finishing few. Thanks a lot, Smoke. Smoke. Where was I? Finishing few. As each morning she turns everything over to the daytime units. It's a frustrating job for a once and upcoming detective, but it's no accident. She's been given this beat as punishment after filing a sexual harassment complaint against her supervisor. But one night, Ballard catches 2 assignments she doesn't want to part with. First, a prostitute is brutally beaten and left for dead in a parking lot. All signs point to a crime of premeditation, not passion, by someone with big evil on the mind. Then she sees a young waitress breathe her last breath after being caught up in a nightclub shooting. Though dubbed peripheral victim, the waitress buys Bullet a way in, and this time she determined not to give up at dawn. Let's see what happens. Amy Sands, Lord of Lies. Naked guy on the cover, Selena. Selena! When a dangerous moneylender kidnaps her sister, Portia Chadwick seeks help from a man known only as Nightshade. Soon she's charging headfirst into the world of intrigue and danger, an unexpected passion. Del Turner grew up in London's back alleys, vowing to escape his low beginnings, and he hires himself out to society's elite. When he accepts a job for a beautiful debutante, he doesn't anticipate her determination to join his mad occupation or ability to inspire emotion he thought he long buried. And hey, if you haven't seen my February If Then Naked Guy on the cover, go check it out. Now, I did the first three, but I need to come back to it. This reminds me I need to come back to it. Look behind you, Iris Johansen. This is book 5. A serial killer with the most unusual method is on the loose in San Diego. With each kill, the perpetrator leaves behind mystifying random objects. In this confusing array of unrelated evidence, the one thing that is clear is that the murders all have one characteristic in common. They all require the specific skills of Kendra Michaels, a hired gun for both the CIA and FBI. Kendra, who has been blind for the first 20 years of her life, gained her sight through a revolutionary surgical procedure, and now her acute senses of observation to assist cases all over the United States. And they need her help with this one. Shallow Grave, Brian Thiem. When the Oakland coroner's office uncovers a body buried in shallow grave in the outskirts of city of homicide sergeant Matt Sinclair expects to find a drug dealer caught in the crosshairs of a turf war. Instead, the victim is identified as Phil Roberts, the commander of the police department's intelligence unit and Sinclair's former partner. Police brass want to pin the murder on a dead member of an outlaw motorcycle gang, and they want the case closed quickly. Do you smell cover up? Kathy Braddock aren't satisfied as Sinclair delves into the details of Robert's past. Secrets come to surface. Secrets that some people will go to any lengths to keep secret. Dorothy Garlock. The Nearness of You. New York the hustle and bustle, the people and excitement is all Lily Denton dreams about. But ever since her mother died, her overprotective father won't ease up on her. So she spends her days working at the library and her nights hoping life doesn't pass her by. Until the fall festival. As the tourists fill the streets, the crisp autumn air sneaks in, as does the thrill of a far more dangerous crime. Some men have a gift for avoiding trouble. Professional photographer Boone Tatum isn't one of them. In fact, the penchant for trouble is exactly what landed Boone in the small town in the first place. And then he meets Lily Denton and snaps her photograph, and it changes everything. We gotta read I gotta read her. Panic Premonition, Victoria Laurie. Professional psychic and FBI consultant Abby Cooper has used her visions to get her out of many a scrape and solve many a crime, but she's about to see a face of a murder that will put all her powers to the test. Abby's husband, Dutch, has a side business providing security and building panic rooms for wealthy clients. One morning, one of Dutch's partners, Dave, goes missing on his way to meet a client. Abby's instincts tell her something terrible has happened, and clients are being found murdered inside their panic rooms. Now, how does that happen? Elizabeth Peters and Joan Hess, The Painted Queen. Set during the golden age of Egyptian archaeology, in a mysterious and exotic land of gods, ancient gods, and dark secrets, priceless treasures, and cutthroat criminals, Amelia Peabody Mystery Series has enthralled fans for decades. Now the daring exploits of the formidable amateur sleuth culminate in this final thrilling adventure. Shortly after arriving in Cairo in 1912 excavation season, Amelia Peabody is relaxing in a well-earned bath in her elegant hotel suite when a man with a knife protruding from his back staggers into the bath chamber and utters a final word, murder, before collapsing on the tile floor dead. Among the few possessions he carried with him was a sheet of paper with Amelia's name and room number on it, and a curious piece of pasteboard and the size of a calling card bearing one word, Judas. Most particularly, the stranger was wearing a gold-rimmed monocle in his left eye. It has become apparent that someone saved Amelia from a would-be assassin who was keeping a careful eye on the intrepid Englishwoman. After discovering the terse note clearly meant for Emerson, "Where were you?" pushed under the door, Amelia knows the only one person that could be someone is the brilliant master disguise of Sethos. There's a lot to unpack there. Quite a bit. We'll see what happens. I've been reading the Bone series, or Temperance Brennan series, so I have not read this series. 2 nights. I think it's a standalone, actually. Meet Sunday night, a woman with physical and psychological scars and a killer instinct. Sunny has spent years running from her past, burying secrets and building a life in which she needs no one and feels nothing. But a girl has gone missing, lost in the chaos of a bomb explosion, and the family needs Sunny's help. Is the girl dead? Did someone take her? Is she out there? Why doesn't she want to be found? It's time for Sunny to face her own demons because they just might lead her to the truth about what really happened all those years ago. I'm not sure. Laurie cast, wrong side of the paw. Again, dog days of summer and cats too. At the bookmobile rose to the hills of Chilton, Michigan, Minnie and Eddie spread good cheer and good reads. But when her faithful feline finds his way into the middle of a murder, Minnie is there, like any good librarian, to check it out. Edie turns a routine bookmobile stop into anything but when he makes a quick escape and hops into a pickup truck with a dead body in the flatbed. The friendly local lawyer who was driving the pickup falls under suspicion, but Minnie and Eddie think there was more to this case than meets the eye. Alison Brooke. Toast to Murder. As Milwaukee counts down to New Year's Eve, bar owner Mackenzie Mac Dalton has but one resolution: unmask the dangerous mastermind who has been taunting her and killer bouncer Gary Gunderson. Mac and her fellow barflies have fleshed out a suspect and arranged an invite-only party to a cork in the murderous game for good. But when the clock strikes midnight and their suspect is found cold and stiff on the basement stairs, they might have had the wrong person in mind. Muffin to Fear, Victoria Hamilton. While Mary is distracted by her quickly planned marriage to Virgil Grace and a blissful honeymoon in New York, her friend Pish invites the ghost hunting crew from TV show Haunt to investigate Mary's home, Winter Castle. Mary soon discovers that not only is the crew out of sync, there are also so many feuds and squabbles. It's a miracle that the show gets produced at all. And the cast members are found dead. Okay. Sewed to Death. Peg Curran. The county fair is the highlight of the year for the small town of Lovett, Michigan, especially for food and lifestyle blogger Shelby McDonald, who writes as the farmer's daughter. She submits jams and jellies she's created from the produce she grows at Love Blossoms Farm, but investing of blue ribbon, harvesting, but the crowns. Sorry, excuse me. Excuse me. Come here. Come here. Still stare at me. But the townspeople get more than just excitement of the hayrides, tractor pulls, and cotton candy when Shelby's neighbor and volunteer fireman Jake Taylor extricates the body of Zeke Barnsdale instead of a dummy. No, no. Instead of a dummy from the demonstration of the joys of life. Naked guy on the cover, Selena. Ellie McTierney guardsman Hamish McRae is looking for a clean start, but when his brother's laird of Fiona Castle leaves the family holdings dangerously unprotected, Hamish has no choice but to return and keep the clansmen safe. And when he does, he discovers Fiona Faven's painful memories have been replaced by the most distracting opportunity for passion. Mariette has come. What does Mariette want? What does Smokey want? What? When Mariette learns that the eldest McBrave returning home, she imagines he'll bring salvation from the power of an army. Instead, the hulking, powerful man she idolizes as a child arrives, and now he thinks of her as a little sister. She wants a love interest. Ilona Andrews, Wildfires. Nevada Baylor can't decide which is more frustrating, harnessing the true seeker abilities of Connor Mad Rogan and their evolving relationship. Yes, the billionaire prime is helping her navigate the complex magical world in which she becomes a crucial player, sometimes a pawn, but also has a deal with her ex-fiancé, whose husband has disappeared and whose damsel in distress act is wearing thin. Rogan faces his own challenges too, as Nevada's magical rank has made her a desirable match for other primes. If you haven't watched my reviews videos on Alyssa Maxwell, please go check them out. I love Derek and Emma, and I'm glad she got over her. That was one of my big pet peeves of the series, was that she was too busy being proud to accept Derek's help, so she ended up marrying him. Covering a polo match for Observer, Emma's job is to take note of real players off the field, a Newport well-bred elite. But the fashionable facade is breached when a woman in gaudy clothing creates a scene demanding to speak to the wife of Senator George Wetmore until she is escorted off the grounds by police. The next morning, police detective Jesse White asks Emma to meet him at the Wetmore's Bellevue home, CHATEAU in Sumner, where the senator's wife Edith mysteriously asked to see her. Upon entering the mansion, Emma is confronted with a crime scene. The intruder from the polo match lies dead on the floor. And our last one, Julianne Walker showed up often in RTs. The first two left blood on his hands. The third left him wondering what if. What if he had told the woman of his dreams how he felt before the world fell apart? Spitfire CIA agent Chelsea DeVoe has always had a thing for her bossy brooding Duggan. It's just as well he's never given her a second look, but he just hasn't confessed it. And there you go. There's your, come here. Come here. Come here. There's your books for July of, here you go, 2017. I gotta make up to somebody. I've ignored her while I did these books. I hope you have a good day. And don't forget unboxing on Sundays and If Then Friday afternoons and Star Trek Voyager Fridays and JD Robb, Eve Dallas on Saturday. And of course my daily book reviews. I just got my favorite book and I finished it. Like, I finished my favorite book. I don't know what to do. Have a good one.